Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
The only station giving you double the information and inspiration.
You are listening to Unbreakable Radio.
And we're your hosts, Chantel
and Neil. We are a husband and wife team that run and own our own dance studio together. The name of our studio is Love of Dance.
If you're interested in purchasing or buying a home, you can contact me, Chantel Graham, with West Vista Realty at 803-814-5968. You can also check us out at our website at www.westvistarealty.com/Chantel. I look forward to helping you find your home needs. Follow us at Facebook at Chantel, SHANTELLE, Graham, GRAHAM, Real Estate Agent.
Today's show topic is going to be who leads and when. So, for our relationship, I'd like to think that we're atypical. Usually there is this, what I'd like to say, a traditional vibe or traditional concept of the man being the head of the household and leading the family and being the final word on decisions, that sort of thing. In the time we've been together, it's been, my opinion at least, we've found that doesn't necessarily work for us. It's more of a partnership where there are some things I'll take the lead on or be the final word on or final decision, but there's some things that she will be the final word. And what we want to talk to you guys about today is finding out what style works for your relationship, your marriage, what works for you. Is it a partnership? Is it letting one person have the final say in all things, or does it depend on the issue? For us, it's depends. And for us, it depends. But for you, it may not be. So you got something to say to that, man?
Well, I know for this episode, my husband is going to be leading a lot because whenever I go through emotional turmoil, he always picks up anything that I can't do. And sometimes I'm just not strong enough to deal with things like loss.
Perfect example. So let me see if I can pick two. So for financial decisions, for example, finance, that sort of thing.
That's me.
Finance is my wife's forte. And it's not just her forte. She loves it. Love working on the budget, love working out, allocating the funds, they're settling this over here. We're going to move this percentage of this over here, this dollar sign over there. That is her bag.
Because I'm good at it.
As she is awesome at it. And not only is she good at it, she loves doing it. This is not my, this is not my ministry. No, it's not. And I don't care enough to be detailed enough to be as proficient as she is with it. So for that, as a wonderful example, she leads that.
Yes.
And go ahead, Ben.
Because if I don't, I have an emotional breakdown. Like our honeymoon.
Oh, right. Okay, was this before then?
That was when we were planning the honeymoon.
With that,
we were
okay.
paying for the
Gotcha.
Paying to go on the honeymoon, and all of a sudden it went up $50 million, and I'm like, we are not going on a honeymoon because it costs too much money.
And
we still win,
but that was one of those moments where the communication kicks in. So you got to figure out, okay, how do we sort this out? So we did decide together that, okay, we are having a honeymoon, but the financing of it, how we were going to pay for it, when we were going to pay for it, all of that, the final decision on that, we both discussed it, but the final decision on that was hers. She led that one, and I had no issue with it.
But you led the honeymoon.
Right.
Because if I
Once
would
we
lead
were
the
there,
honeymoon,
Jesus.
we would have done entirely too much things, and we would have been too stressed, because I like to try to do anything and everything as much as possible.
Yeah.
And you had to take the lead on that so that we did not stress out on our honeymoon.
Yes, because on that, once we got to the place, we had to. Yeah, I was in charge of the activities there, because my wife knows that her inclination is to try and do as many things as possible each day, which I know is a recipe for stress, because it's going to be rushing and trying to do too many things at once, trying to fit in too much time into too many activities into too little time. And that would just take the point of the honeymoon, which is a mini vacation, and reset for you to come back as a new couple, and turn it into entirely two stressful situations. When you get back, you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah, that's
So
why you take the lead in that.
yeah, so I took the lead on that one. When there are projects to be done in the house, this one flips back and forth. So when recognizing that a project is necessary, my wife is the one who usually picks out when she sees that a project is necessary.
And there are many.
Then no shade on that one at all. So she'll point out, hey, this needs to get done, yada yada yada, and then she'll take the lead on the, hey, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue, this needs to be addressed. And then I'll take the lead on, okay, well, fine, this is how it needs to be done, this is how it needs to be done, because I have the expertise because I'm a handyman, or one of the jobs anyways, is I'm a handyman, so how to execute it, that sort of thing, that usually falls on me. So at that juncture, I take the lead. So, we go back and forth, just depends on what the role is.
Yeah, most of his lead is stopping us so that I don't continue to go through the entire night.
There is also that, because there is an attentiveness to your partner that is necessary to recognize where we now are having diminishing returns on whatever project we're doing, and this is not creating a benefit, is now become a stressor. And the stopping point is where I got to stand up and go, okay, we got to stop here, because this is now becoming counterproductive.
Yeah, like we're gonna stop right now, right?
Yes. All right. So when we come back, we will continue our conversation about who leads and when. You are listening to Unbreakable Radio.
And we're your host, Chantel.
And Neil. You are tuned to WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
The only station giving you double the information and inspiration.
We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And for those streaming live through iTunes radio app and the iHeartRadio app, you are listening to
Unbreakable Radio with your hosts,
Chantel
and Neil.
If you're just tuning in, we are discussing who leads and when.
Thank you for tuning in. So for example, where we dropped off was, for example, talking about how we come up with a rationale, or in practice, how we decide who's leading what and when, and recognizing that we need to play to your partner's strengths. It is we feel, or definitely in our marriage, it's a better scenario to let the partner who excels at this particular skill set, to let them take the lead. And if there is another skill set on the end of that may help or accentuate, you may come in, interject, help, be a sounding board, to help to address or mitigate any potential issues.
Because leading doesn't mean taking over.
No.
Because it's still a partnership.
Yes.
Just like when we dance, and we do a lot of partner dancing, where he has to lead and I have to follow. And when we're teaching, we notice that it's very difficult for most people to switch roles, because in some relationships, the women lead majority of the relationship. And on the dance floor, the man is in control. So to make the dance look good, one has to lead and one has to follow. You can't have too many leaders acting at the same time. You can work together to lead, but you can't take over.
You both can't lead at the same time.
Yeah, because then you'll step on someone's toes.
Yep. What you're going to end up with is a power conflict. And what you end up with is the scenario of, I know better, so you're supposed to listen to me, as opposed to let's find the best way to do this, which isn't one's dictatorship, the other one's leadership. Because you can identify leadership, or the root of leadership is service. Because if you are leading someone or a group of people, or you are a leader, you're leading an office, leading a marriage, you are in service to those who you're responsible for or are caring for. Your leadership should serve them to make them better. So to use the dancing example, if I am leading my partner, one, my partner needs to be having a good time. Two, my partner is, primarily your partner's supposed to be having a good time. And then secondary, you've got to make sure you're making your partner look good. It should be fun. You should be paying attention to your partner, making sure you make, when they leave the dance floor, they leave with a smile going, oh, I had a great time. That was a wonderful dance, as opposed to, I'm never dancing with that person again.
Yeah, you always want the person to come back. You don't want to push them away by trying to be a dictator, because if you do, they don't want to be around you. You want people to feel comfortable in your presence. In order to do that, you have to communicate with one another.
And then that leads to trust. Good leadership lends itself to trust. I trust her to take the lead on the things that we've decided in our marriage, where she is the obvious one to take the lead on that. I trust her to handle it without issue. And then I don't question that trust, and I don't constantly put upon her with, am I sure I trust you? I don't question the trust. I don't try and communicate to her that, well, I'm not sure if you can handle this. I don't do that, because that will break down the dynamic of who's leading and how they lead. And once that starts to happen, you're going to inevitably end up with conflicts in how you resolve your issues, how any project that comes up needs to be done. Be it as simple as we're going to the store, so who gets the list? Whose car do we take? How do we go down the aisles? That sort of thing.
That's new, isn't it?
Yeah, that got switched up thanks to Corona. So what items we get, that sort of thing. You have to trust whoever you guys decide is taking the lead at that point. You have to put your trust in them. It is totally counterproductive to put someone in charge, to put them in the leadership role, and then to constantly question them.
So, yeah.
Anything else to add, ma'am?
Y'all have excuse me, my brain is scattered. But that's why you're taking the lead right now.
Yes, no problem. I got you. That's what I'm here for. I'm nothing if not useful.
Is that what you call what you are?
And convenient. Well, all right, guys, that's it for today's show. We hope it was helpful. We hope it gives you insight into a different way to view the leadership dynamic in a relationship, how it doesn't always have to be one leader. The role can be passed back and forth. It's very interchangeable. For us, it works. For us, this has brought us peace.
And it's a working relation. It's a working, not relationship, but a work in progress.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not something that we learned.
Yeah, this is new.
One.
This is new.
We work on it every single day, because if we don't,
yeah, we don't like the alternative, so we have to keep working on it. So thank you guys so much for joining us this week. So join us next week as we as we
continue our conversations.
Continue our conversations. Next week's topic is going to be how we argue, men versus women.
Deadly.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Continue to tune in every Sunday at 4:45 p.m. Please remember to connect with us on Facebook at Unbreakable Radio. You can find us on iTunes at Unbreakable Radio. You can also find us on YouTube at Unbreakable Radio. Also,
I'm sorry, you have been listening to Unbreakable Radio, and we're your host, Chantel
and Neil, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
For double the information and inspiration. Until next week, stay beautiful.